Colonial Life Arena. The #1 team is in town at South Carolina, looking to hand the Tennessee Volunteers their second conference loss of the season. And with that, South Carolina would be in the mix. Right now, a third of the way through the season. They're only a game back of first place Tennessee and LSU in the SEC race. It's been an amazing season for these Volunteers, perhaps at this point their best ever. #1 for the second straight week for the first time in school history. A winning streak that dates back to the 1920s in terms of length and relativity, and they're led by the SEC Player of the Year. Grant Williams doing it again with 20 a game. Big energy in the building. Let's go to the South Carolina locker room and head coach Frank Martin.
That's why we played the schedule we played in non-conference play. So we're prepared for these kind of games. That's what this, when you play in this league, those are the kind of games that you have to be prepared to play. So we've lined up, we've done it, we understand what it takes. We understand what it takes to play against the real good teams. We understand what it takes to win against the real good teams. Now it's just a matter of trusting, communicating, being connected, going out there and executing the stuff that we talked about doing. It's pretty simple, man, not a complicated thing. Not a complicated thing.
A very calm and collected Frank Martin getting ready to face Grant Williams in this #1 Tennessee team. Tom Hart alongside John Sundvold. For Frank Martin, he doesn't have to bring the energy in the locker room because the building itself is juiced. So who reacts to that?
Well, what a great atmosphere. Obviously, a home team reacts. But Tennessee likes this feeling.
Yeah.
They like being the hunted one. And they have established themselves all season long. When they go on the road, they're not only calm and confident, they got a bit cockiness to them, too, and it's fun to watch them play.
It's like a heavyweight title fight here tonight in Columbia, and two superstars going head-to-head. The reigning SEC Player of the Year in Grant Williams, the reigning SEC Defensive Player of the Year in Chris Silva.
Big-time matchup between two guys who stays out of foul trouble. Silva shoots 6 free throws a game. Grant Williams, nearly 9 free throw attempts a ball game.
In their history, South Carolina has beaten the #1 team in the country just once. That was Kentucky back in 2010. Devin Downey was the superstar that night. Who will be the star tonight if the Gamecocks can pull off another upset?
Tom, I expect a great pace to this game. Tennessee likes to get up and down. Someone asked me, will South Carolina slow it up? I don't think they will. I think they'll get after them defensively and try to attack on the offensive end.
Tennessee, a great defensive team, and a near steal by Lamonte Turner, and they will say Tennessee basketball after all that. Turner in the starting lineup for the second consecutive game. Here's a look at the starters for the Volunteers. That one change in the lineup puts Turner among the 5 who got their names called first. Jordan Bone will run the point.
We know South Carolina will guard them closely. Expect a lot of backdoor cuts early, because if you get backdoor cuts, South Carolina backs up just a step or two.
That's what Schofield ran on the very first play. Second possession now for Carolina.
Surprisingly, Schofield has been struggling the last 3 ball games shooting the basketball. 26% from the field, only 2 of 15 in the last 3 games beyond the three-point line. Expect him, I think, sooner or later to have a breakout game.
A drive and left short by the freshman Keyshawn Bryant. 2 freshmen in the starting lineup for South Carolina, Bryant and the point guard Lawson. Here's Kyle Alexander, got it deep. Tennessee another offensive board and a foul. If that's Silva, that will be a continuing storyline for South Carolina. It's not. That one's on Keyshawn Bryant.
Tennessee went right away into Alexander to try to put pressure on Silva, but you must block out a very active team of Schofield and Williams. When they don't have the ball, they're going to attack the rim.
Another one coming for Schofield. His head coach Rick Barnes in his 4th season on Rocky Top. He had #1 Texas going into Kansas State back in the day. Frank Martin beat him head-to-head in that one. Schofield has the first 2 for Tennessee. And the pressure, Grant Williams a steal. Williams immediately after Silva. And Alexander with a double clutch.
Almost an unforced turnover by South Carolina. Tennessee with the pressure, but Kotsar with a sloppy pass.
What does Tennessee get, besides the steal, obviously, get out of pressuring South Carolina?
Again, tempo, just, you know, almost establishing your own turf, right? You're on the road. Everybody would expect the home team to come out and play you well. Rick Barnes not afraid, and his guys aren't afraid. #1 team in the country. They've not started well the last few ball games. Good hit early by Trey Campbell.
Tennessee will push. Here's Grant Williams, blocked by Silva. It'll stay this way.
What a great environment. Campbell with the bucket, and how quickly Tennessee turned around, pushed it. Terrific block getting back by Silva, but I think Williams lost the ball going up.
South Carolina, not a fantastic shooting team from deep, but Campbell gets them started right.
You know, they've changed so much since conference has started. Campbell last 8 ball games is shooting nearly 40% beyond the three-point line.
Grant Williams, turnaround off the glass.
I think what surprises people about Grant Williams at only 6'7", how quickly he can elevate off the floor and how high he gets for his jump shot.
Talking with an NBA scout before the game today, said if he's going to make it in the league, he's going to make it as a guard. Another whistle inside. This one's going to be against Tennessee. It'll be Williams' first.
No double team on the bump. They're going to let him go for a bit. We'll see how long that lasts. The elevation, the easy bucket.
Talking with Grant before the game, he said he was a little bit surprised they didn't double team him in the matchup last year, but they tried to do it late. Here's Silva deep. And Alexander gets whistled for the foul. What did Rick Barnes tell us today? He said a lot of this game is going to be decided and dictated by who this officiating crew is. Meaning if they can let him play, that would be to Tennessee's advantage.
And Alexander, very good defender, knows he cannot not allow Silva to get such easy position down low. You got to do your work early. Silva's a finisher. He's the kind of guy that when he gets the ball, he's going to lean a lot of parts of his body into the defender to try to draw contact.
Rick Barnes a little frustrated early. Silva is one of the best. Both he and Grant Williams great at getting to the line and making the other team pay. Grant Williams against Vandy drew 14 fouls in Tennessee's overtime win last week. This is Jordan Bone, a challenge 2 over the freshman Lawson.
Very confident Tennessee offensive team. They don't care who scores. All 5 are good at scoring the basketball.
Lawson tried to push it, had it blocked by Bone.
A great team of communicators on both ends of the floor are the Volunteers.
I thought Frank Martin described it perfectly. He said they're connected, and that's what South Carolina aspires to be, connected, because they don't have individual superstars as good as, say, Grant Williams is.
And much like Frank Martin said, his team that went to the Final Four towards the end of that year was very connected.
Yeah. In fact, in that regard, he compared Grant Williams to Sedarius Thornwell. We got a foul on the offensive end. Keyshawn Bryant hustled to midcourt to draw it. I don't know, Sonny, if he gave Lamonte Turner room to make the play.
No, but Turner's got to see out of the corner of his eye and make a stop. You can't just go on a full run. Might not have had space. Could have easily called traveling because he couldn't get the ball down.
3 Tennessee starters have already picked up a personal foul. The entry to Silva. And 1.
Second personal on Alexander. They cleared everybody out from the side out of bounds and simply threw it straight into Silva. No help defense. The reach. And Silva's unorthodox style of playing the low post.
Chris Silva did not play organized basketball until he came to the States in Roselle Catholic in New Jersey as a high school junior. He told me before the game today, he said, I would go out and practice with teams. I would train with teams. I never played in games. It was just pickup basketball with his buddies. How about his growth as a player?
Well, he's picked it up pretty well in the South Carolina uniform. The Auburn game, 32 points, 14 rebounds in pursuit.
John Fulkerson into the game for Tennessee, first off the bench.
Energy in buildings for a home team usually gives a home team advantage on the defensive end.
Shot clock's at 3. Williams 4-3. And we got a push up inside. Admiral Schofield becomes the latest Tennessee starter. Or pardon me, it's on Fulkerson, his first. There was some question, if you're wondering why John Fulkerson is the first off the bench for Tennessee, there's some question as to whether or not Jordan Bowden is 100% healthy. He tweaked his knee during Tennessee's shoot-around today. Got a lot of attention from the Tennessee athletic training staff, and it is a question as to whether or not we'll see Bowden in this game. But I imagine if we don't see him in the first 10 minutes, he may not play.
Yeah, and Bowden's been great. 6 of the last 7 games, double figures. He had 20 at Missouri.
Silva, offensive board. South Carolina unable to take advantage. Here's Bone. Around Silva. Lawson has the board. A chance for Carolina to run. Nobody picks him up, but the freshman doesn't finish. Asani Gravett. And he scoops it in. Lamonte Turner off the mark. Carolina trying to add to its first lead of the night. Great hands, and Turner with the steal. 2-on-1. Turner all the way.
Wow,
The
what
burst.
speed. Good hands, bad pass by Gravett. Even if you're the home team and you're trying to get everybody out of their seats and continue the pace, you got to make smart plays.
South Carolina with the turnover. It's already their 4th. We get a chance to catch our breath. The heavyweight title fight has lived up to the billing thus far. Tennessee, South Carolina tied early.
In the South, there's a zest for life that's unrivaled. From family gatherings to football games, we enjoy good food, great fun, and warm hospitality. And we always do it with style. For generations, Belk has been a Southern staple, helping families celebrate life. In fact, we've been around about as long as college football. Belk, celebrating 130 years of modern Southern style.
Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring on the flavor. Try Zaxby's Boneless Wings Meal, tossed in our new Caribbean jerk sauce. Or customize your meal with any of our other 9 delicious sauces. Zaxby's.
Sports fans are gearing up at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
You work hard to build a better life and a better world. Now you can do both by ditching your big bank and switching to Aspiration. Aspiration helps you spend and save with a conscience, and Aspiration trusts you to pay only the fee you think we deserve, even if it's zero. So use any ATM in the world for free. Switch at aspiration.com. Save money, save the planet.
South Carolina in its upset bid tonight against Tennessee has played well early. The Gamecocks have only beaten number 1 once in their school history. 1-12 all time. We take you back to 2010. Boogie Cousins and 4 other NBA players still in the league were among Kentucky's starting 5. There's Boogie getting it done. But shout out Devin Downey. Shout out Chester, South Carolina. The superstar etched his name in South Carolina lore with 30, knocking off number 1. And the Gamecocks pulled off with a 6-point victory in that one. Darren Horn was telling me that they had a terrible practice leading into that one, going into that game, and they took a $25,000 fine from the SEC from court storming. How about that? They had 6 draft picks, including 3 max guys: Bledsoe, Cousins, Wall, and South Carolina had 0 pros. Darren Horn coached them up a little bit that night. Helps when you have Devin Downey.
I saw Darren Saturday. Texas visited Georgia. Good to see him. You know, coaches, when they talk about having a bad practice, they think of all those things. 20-year-old players, they don't worry about a bad practice, good practice. They go into the next thing.
Funny part about Kentucky maybe being a little bit too big for their britches, they got a call from President Obama that afternoon during their practice. They'd just done the hoops for Haiti and raised a ton of money for the earthquake victims. Obama called him up, said thanks for doing that, congrats on the number 1 ranking, but remember, you got to show up every night when you're number 1. Jordan Bone with the triple. Tennessee back in front. Derek Walker on the floor along with Yves Pons off the Tennessee bench. Still no Jordan Bowden siding for the Volunteers.
A lot of work to be done now by the interior defenders of Tennessee, with Alexander on the bench with 2.
That's the freshman A.J. Lawson. Bone into the paint to Fulkerson.
Bone's speed is the best in the country. And when he utilizes it, he puts so much pressure on a defensive team.
Gravett beaten down the floor, but couldn't knock it in.
Bone can be a one-man break.
Schofield all alone. Second missed dunk of the game, 1 for each side. And now Campbell. Nice kiss.
Interesting. Schofield really had an easy one.
Yeah.
Missed one of those in warm-ups.
He missed the dunk in warm-ups.
He did.
The one that gets the entire team going. Schofield for 3. Shots off a little bit.
Yeah, it really is, and it's way off. When shots go off from shooters outside like Schofield, he's hanging on the ball too long. Got to shoot it earlier in the jump shot just to get it out of the hands. Then you're not aiming the basketball.
Stripped away by Derek Walker. Took it away from Felipe Haase. Bone will let it go. Balanced attack tonight for Tennessee. Bone leading the way with 8.
Much like the Missouri game, when they struggled early with Schofield, Williams struggling, not scoring, Bone took over and led them to the first half lead.
Well, his game has really matured.
Yeah, terrific.
3-second violation, turnover number 6. We've got Frank Martin wearing a microphone. Let's listen in.
Hey, you guys, make sure you guys keep me informed of whatever he says here.
After game, he's buying everybody dinner.
Holy cow, is he playing?
Does he stay here? Where does his contract?
I mean, is he playing? You're jacked up right now. Holy cow, that adrenaline's going.
Everybody reacts to a big game, right? Even Doug Chow's and the officiating crew.
Frank Martin, Rick Barnes, very good friends. Good competitors from the Big 12 days of Texas against Kansas State. Admire each other's coaching ability, admire each other's teams. Great respect for each other.
Frank was just effusive in his praise of Rick Barnes, and he was honored that last year at Media Day, Rick Barnes told everybody that he wanted to build his program like Frank has built this one at South Carolina. Another South Carolina turnover. That is their 7th in the first 8 minutes.
Play fast, but don't be in a hurry, correct? So they're pushing the tempo, trying to make Tennessee run and play, get more bodies on the floor. Too many mistakes early. You can get away with more mistakes at home, obviously.
Yeah. South Carolina has turned it over in each of their last 4 possessions. Jalen Johnson on the floor.
And Bone getting a needed rest, but he's been the one making the shots. Look for Turner to try to find some open looks.
Johnson on the handoff. And the lefty banks it in. Largest lead of the game for Tennessee at 6. Campbell will let it go.
Can't leave him open. Campbell's a solid shooter.
Got to travel on that one as Hassani Gravett took it to the floor. Tennessee has opened up a 6-point lead. The #1 team in the country trying to prove their mettle on the road.
Fact is, Americans move more than anyone else in the world. On average, we'll live in 11 homes.
Hey, let me help.
And every time we move, things change.
Guys, help your mom out.
Apartments become houses. Cars become minivans.
Mom, it's only an hour away.
As we upgrade and downsize. An Allstate agent will do the same for our protection. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
Capital One Saver Card. Earn 4% cash back on dining and 4% on entertainment. Now when you go out, you cash in. What's in your wallet?
So this is how Tennessee gets loose. Admiral Schofield, oh no, he missed the hype dunk pregame. So Jalen Johnson said, I'll take care of it. Tennessee, we think Tennessee started this tradition, right? We've seen it all over the country. Even into the NBA now. There's Jordan Bone. This guy's been the rock for Tennessee.
Leadership qualities have just vaulted to the top this season for the junior. Whether he needs to score the ball, assist the ball, great defender. We saw this kind of action again in the Missouri game. The first half when Missouri took the big lead and Williams was struggling, Schofield struggling. Bone and Bowden took over, and it was Bone's jump shots that kind of set the mark, same as he has this first half.
Let me ask you about keeping your emotions in check in a game like this. When you played at Missouri, you played on a #1 ranked team. South Carolina playing a #1 team, 0 assists, 8 turnovers tonight.
The height meter at home is tough when you're trying to knock somebody off. The #1 team, when they walk in, they know they're the #1 team. They'll be solid. Plus, South Carolina's got a few young guys on their team,
including Keyshawn Bryant, who just committed his second personal foul. I was talking with Grant Williams before the game today as Evan Hinson enters for the first time. You know, the student section was giving him a really hard time, and he responded with a smile and a laugh. And he said, no, we're used to it. We love big games. We love being on the road. It's a big-time dunk. And Williams has his second bucket to extend the lead. He said the only time the student section got to me was down in Florida when somebody yelled out, hey, I was in the school play with you. And he goes, he got me to turn around. I was thinking maybe it was somebody I knew from Charlotte. Instead, it was a random dude in a banana costume. He said, you got me. Here's Hinson, not afraid. Wow, he's been ice cold lately. And he rattles home his first.
Well, Tennessee, the players gave the Gator chomp when they left that place.
Yeah.
They saluted the Antlers when they left there. They thumped their chest out when they left Memphis. They're kind of leaving their mark no matter where they've been.
Pons couldn't knock it down. Skip ahead, Hinson. 2 in a row. And the tight end on the football team thought he had it. Brother playing at Ole Miss. Dad was their high school coach.
His brother has been terrific at Ole Miss.
Brother Blake. It's a physical matchup. Hinson on Pons.
You see a lot of backdoor cuts to see if they can get anything. Makes South Carolina just get a little bit of ground.
Shot clock's at 6. Williams on Silver. The matchup we were waiting for. Williams snuck free.
Almost as though he has eyes in the back of his head because he released the ball earlier because Coach Start was coming for the block.
Silver waiting for Gravitt to clear out. A one-handed push. This could be fun if these guys go mano-a-mano.
Tell you what, that shows you something about Silva's development on the offensive end. Not an easy shot.
Take it away. Mike Kotsar jumped into the passing lane. Frank Martin said push it. Over the top to Silva, and he couldn't quite squeeze it.
Mano-a-mano. Silva's got the ability to go up over the top of most every player here, especially with Alexander on the sideline.
Making Grant Williams work. He's looking a little bit winded as he goes and takes a seat behind Rick Barnes on the Tennessee bench.
I'm keeping my eye on Schofield. A couple turnovers, 0-3 from the field.
Top of the key, he'll offer a screen. Bones floater goes.
How about that? Get right back in the game. Check back in. Don't break a sweat. Still deliver. Great quickness, great speed. More importantly for Bone isn't just the speed, it's how he uses his speed.
Hinson nearly walked with it. Here's Silva.
Well, he did walk. They just didn't call it. Okay. He drug his foot for a while.
Silva turned into the jumper. He had 32 in that Auburn game on 11 of 12 shooting.
Pretty efficient.
Lamonte Turner.
Yes. Loves big shots. Loves big moments. You know, Tom, the tough part about Tennessee, who do you help off, right?
Yeah.
All 5 can score when they're on the floor.
Derek Walker couldn't contains Silva, and Chris Silva will go back to the free throw line. I asked Chris Silva about playing in big games. I said, you got number one coming into your building tonight. What's the biggest game you played in? You went to a Final Four. You played in this fantastic league that sent 8 teams to the tournament. He said Duke in the round of 32 in 2017, and he was big in that one. 17 and 10 with 2 blocks. And his point was, nobody needed to hype us up. Nobody needed to say this is a big game. You knew it when you came out onto the floor.
You mentioned that 2017 run in the NCAA tournament. It was really his stepping out on the offensive end. Over 13 points, nearly 9 rebounds a game.
Should have been a lane violation. It will be on Johnson, and Silva will get another chance. Lost his balance and came in the lane.
It has been fun watching the development of Chris Silva. But when he showed up, was mainly a defender and a guy that could run rim to protect, but not on the offensive end. Now he is their vocal team leader, besides being a scorer and a rebounder.
Alonzo Frink has entered the game for South Carolina. Silva gets a breather. Bone's the leading scorer in this one for Tennessee. He's got 10. Williams on the bench right now. Return inside to Schofield. Got a pump fake and went with his left. First field goal of the game for Admiral Schofield.
Smart play by Schofield. He has struggled shooting the ball, take it to the rim. Use your body, use your size, use your ability off the low block. Going back to where he was raised, primarily a post player before Rick Barnes pulled him outside.
Fouls piling up for Tennessee. That's the first on Jalen Johnson. Well, Grant Williams has 6 early in this one, but it's the other guys coming up with big plays. Jordan Bone with his floater. He's into double figures. Then Admiral Schofield going in the paint to get the work done. Number one looks like number one.
Let's go to work. Here we go.
Get back to the ball. Go get it. Go get it, Omar.
SEC Inside.
They ain't surrendering.
We take you behind the scenes.
We haven't even begun to play our best basketball yet.
And give you inside access.
Skate with a plan. Let's have some fun. Enjoy this, baby.
Monday, it's an SEC Inside doubleheader. Vanderbilt at 9, followed by Texas A&M at 9:30 on the SEC Network.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics. World-class care in Middle Tennessee for more than 20 years. Proven treatments tailored to your specific pain. Leading-edge technology from regenerative stem cells to robotic-assisted knee surgery.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics has changed my life. My quality of life's better. I have no more pain. It is just terrific to live again.
When experience matters, Houston Clinic Orthopedics, with 9 locations to heal you.
What better way to begin 2019 than the Start Something New sales event at Columbia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat with special sale pricing on over 200 Jeep Wranglers in stock. The all-new Jeep Renegade Latitude, only $269 per month. You always get the best deals at Middle Tennessee's Jeep headquarters. Our first sale of the year is our best sale, so start something new today.
And that's why we're still the #1 Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram volume dealer in the state of Tennessee. You can count on us.
Columbia, South Carolina, where #1 Tennessee has an 8-point lead on the Gamecocks. We thought it would be a matchup between Grant Williams and Chris Silva that has played out that way on certain possessions, and thus far, Silva more efficient. He's got 11, he's got 2 boards, and is perfect from the free throw line. But Grant Williams getting a lot of help from his teammates. They've made it a point to get it into Silva.
You know what? We've seen his development. We've talked about it. And now when you're the focal point and you take leadership that you're the guy that must produce on the offensive end, what has changed for the South Carolina team is the fact that when they got in the SEC play, Silva with 32 career high. Kotsar had 25 against Mississippi State, career high. Lawson, 24 against Vandy, career high. Gravitt, 22 against Florida, one off the career high. What South Carolina has been able to do is elevate themselves offensively. That has changed the way that they were before playing in the SEC.
Hasse misses both from the free throw line. 90% shooter in the season.
Tonight, though, is a different animal. You're playing a team that not only is a great offensive team like Tennessee, but they're a great defensive team. And you're challenged on both ends of the floor.
So Tennessee has an 8-point lead. They're playing tonight to this point without Jordan Bowden. Gives them 11 points a game. Had 15 last time out. If you missed it today during shoot-around, he tweaked his knee to some extent. We're not sure. Rick Barnes said before the game, we're going to give it a try if we feel like it. Otherwise, he may not play. To this point, you know, they've already brought 4 guys off the bench. Doesn't look like Bowden's going to go.
It gives you a little bit of an example of how good this team is. One of your best players can't go, and everybody else just steps up their game.
Alonzo Frink. We're going to get him on Haase. Frink was the initial defender, but instead Haase commits his first. So both he and Frink will take a seat. South Carolina goes zone off the inbounds. Williams on Silva. And Gravett got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. I asked Silva, what's so tough about playing Grant Williams? He said it's easy. It's his versatility. He can beat you in so many different ways. You've got to be ready. And that time Silva looked like he was upset. He said, I got the guy, and you committed the foul.
Guy from behind. Now, Williams, what I love about him, Tom, is the fact that he's so calm when he gets the ball. He doesn't rush things. Yes, he can make a quick move. Yes, he can explode by you. But that time there, he caught the ball in the middle and then was patient enough to wait to attack. Eyes up his defender and thinks, okay, what am I going to do? Silva backed up a step. He's going to go for a jump shot. Grab it. He can't reach, especially from that.
He didn't miss from the free throw line against Vanderbilt. 84%, 5th best in the league. He misses 2 in a row. Well, that doesn't happen very often. Official's going to get some help. It'll be Tennessee basketball after a conversation. $18,000. Well, not quite 18,000. There's a lot of orange in the building tonight. The home crowd thought they got the call wrong. There's Williams sliding it in.
They should give him 2.5 points. That's the degree of difficulty on the shots that Williams makes.
So we should have the French judge taking part in basketball these days?
See, oui.
Campbell over Pons. Here's Silva. And Tennessee comes out of there with it. It's a 10-point lead for the #1 ranked team in the country. Patience.
Yeah, patience. Look. Wow. Explosion. Little fade back. Can't get to it. Even a great shot blocker can't get to that shot.
They've made 6 in a row. And Grant Williams now with 10.
Silva is a great shot blocker. Watch the difficulty of this one, Tom. He goes through Silva. The strength to be able to pull the ball back away from the defender. Draw the contact. Probably was hoping for a bit of a whistle. Didn't get it. Still finished.
Pretty good pass, too. The most shocking part of this night is that Grant Williams missed 2 free throws in a row. See what the SEC Player of the Year has looked like tonight. Junior out of Providence Day School up the road in Charlotte.
And if you don't double team him, you can tell he's patient. You already said it. Patient enough just to wait his spot to see where he can find an opening. Great with the left hand, great with the right hand. Elevates off his feet. There's a reason why he was Player of the Year a year ago, preseason Player of the Year this year, and well on his way probably to a repeat performance.
He would join Corliss Williamson. That's the last guy to win Player of the Year twice in a row.
It's funny, it's kind of a good comparison on how their games are.
I hadn't thought of it, actually. Silva will tee up a 3. Bonus, that's only his 7th 3 of the season. Here's Lamonte Turner. Bone dish, Williams will go to the line.
Tom, how quickly Tennessee puts the ball back on your defense. Bucket is scored, and then here they come. And the speed of Bone and the quickness of how he can shift players around, he gets to the lane easily. 3 South Carolina Gamecocks surround Bone. He drops it off to Williams. Contact. He goes back to the free throw line where he has another miss.
3 in a row. This is a guy hit 23 straight against Vandy, second most in NCAA history.
Shakes his head. Back to the line.
What does a great shooter think in this situation?
Take a deep breath. Reevaluate. Just like he did. Bad shooters think about it. Good shooters just take a breath. Get back to what you're supposed to do.
You mentioned Tennessee and their pace. They're in the 90th percentile in the country according to Synergy when they get out on transition and run. Talking with the Carolina coaching staff, they said that's one thing that most people, the average fan, doesn't appreciate against this Tennessee team is the pace at which they play. Frank Martin has one head-to-head win against Rick Barnes back when they were in the Big 12. Frank was at Kansas State. Rick was at Texas. They're wearing the same tie tonight, coaches against illiteracy. You might see that throughout college basketball. They did not all shop at the same men's store this afternoon.
Matchup, Hinson on Bone, a mismatch. Hinson's got to give him space. Bone's made jump shots over the top.
Williams, ball fake. And Hinson finds the rebound. All right, so South Carolina obviously turning it over too much. What else do they need to do on offense?
Well, what's amazing is how quickly Tennessee gets back, and they make it tough to score against them with early buckets.
Here's the run out. Fulkerson. Tennessee can beat you in the half court, and they can beat you 94 feet.
That's a made layup after a bucket.
Yeah.
Can't happen. You would think it can happen. Happened again. Outstanding pass by Bone that time. Again.
Kotsar gives it up. Shot clock will get into single digits. Kotsar, strong take. Again. And Fulkerson got tripped up. They'll say it's off of his knee. And South Carolina basketball.
He had another chance at a layup. Kotsar going to work on the offensive end. And look at the dead sprint by Fulkerson.
What a pass.
Where are the weak side guards when your guy, Kotsar, shoots a shot? Always got to keep the floor in balance, offensively, defensively. If you're a point guard on one side of the floor and your big guy shooting, you're the first guy to spread back.
Silva working hard against Williams inside. Finally gets it. Williams has really long arms, makes him a great defender. Silva over the top of him. 16 first half points for Chris Silva. 6-point game. And Bone with the assist, another answer. What a game by Jordan Bone.
Great screen up top by Schofield at the half-court line to free up Bone on the drive.
South Carolina basketball. Admiral Schofield needs a moment. Tennessee already dealing with an injury to Jordan Bowden. And now Schofield is slow.
Silva off to a phenomenal start on the offensive end. One-on-one matching up, but Williams has had an answer the entire first half.
I thought I'd lost my business in that fire, but my agent was there before the flames were out. He said, together, we're gonna rebuild. We've got 25 employees who depended on it, and that's all that mattered to me. My independent agent and auto owners made sure we didn't skip a beat. I mean, we didn't miss a single payroll. Incredible.
For whatever lies ahead, we're always there. Auto Owners Insurance.
At Regions Bank, we're here to help you move your life forward. But managing money correctly can be tough, especially for college students. That's why we sometimes bring in some extra help.
Young lady, you are way too smart to hit that order button. $750 on a dress that'll be out of style by next week? And what? You might wear it 2, 3 times tops?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I probably am right.
Regions, official bank of the SEC.
Coming up at half, Pat Bradley, Peter Burns will show you highlights of Arkansas, Georgia. That game in progress right now. We'll also dive into why that team right there, Tennessee's #1 ranked team in the country. But what are you seeing so far down in Columbia?
Chris Silva showing us his entire repertoire. Could probably even score against John Sunville tonight.
Come on now, let's not get carried away.
Okay, good point.
Let's head back down to John in Columbia.
All right, gentlemen, thanks. What a start for Georgia. First half against Arkansas. You just saw the Bulldogs. How'd they look this weekend?
You know, I saw them put 92 points on Texas. They shot the ball well. They moved well without the basketball. Didn't rely on a point guard. They kind of play a positionless game, and they're fun to watch.
Kentucky looked sensational against Kansas Saturday night.
You know what? They're doing what John Calipari does. They're guarding. They're long. They rebound. They had 17 offensive rebounds against the Jayhawks. That's a huge number.
Showed some Bam firepower. P.J. Washington and Reed Travis. We got to work on Reed's face, though. His mug face.
Yeah?
Need to polish it up a little bit.
Okay.
He looked like a Stanford guy trying to look tough.
You're saying they're not tough?
No, I'm sure plenty of Stanford guys are tough.
Okay, just check.
South Carolina has had a pretty good offensive half outside of the turnovers.
So here's the number I'm going to look at. South Carolina's 3 of 8 3-pointers, 8 3-point attempts, 7 free throw attempts, 5 of 7. 2 of their last 3 losses, they've taken more 3-pointers than free throws. That's not normal for South Carolina. 6 of their 9 losses this season, they took more 3-pointers than free throws. They're a team that likes to attack the rim and go to the rim. If they settle on jump shots, it's not been a good formula this season.
Kotsar ended up on his knee after the failed alley-oop, commits his first, and Tennessee is in the bonus. A couple of things the Carolina coaching staff said: we can't allow Tennessee to run. We can't allow Tennessee to get to the free throw line. And Williams has now made 2 in a row after missing 3 straight.
Got a simple stroke, smart. Lines up the right foot, right shoulder. Easy delivery.
Lamonte Turner commits his second.
Been a quiet first half so far for A.J. Lawson. 13 points, the ball game leads this team in scoring. Is 1 of 5 from the field. Big moment though as a freshman playing a #1 team.
So here's A.J. Lawson, freshman from Mississauga, Ontario. Played on a loaded Canadian national team along with Simi Solashitu, who's now at Vanderbilt. Andrew Nembhard, who's at Florida, running the point. Here's Bone after the crossover on Hinson. And Silva's got another board.
You know, it was a miss by Bone, but it was right on target again. I'm not sure many defenders can stay in front of Bone and keep him from getting a 10, 12-foot jump shot when he wants to. You got to give him a step.
Silva got too deep off the side of the backboard.
And Walker might have gotten hit in the nose.
Bone with the board. Walker's going to walk it up and blow his nose at the same time. Oh, his hand should be extra sticky now. Williams, quick move. Wow, what a variety. 17 in the first half for Grant Williams.
No patience on that one, right? Catch, release quick. Hard to guard. The only thing he did was try to guard Bone as Bone was bringing it up the floor.
With that quick move, it's kind of like a big league pitcher. You don't throw your fastball max velocity every time, right?
Yeah.
Silva's second triple. He only had 6 on the season. He's got a 19-point half, 2 better than Grant. Lamonte Turner for three, and he held it.
It's really fun to watch a veteran team like Tennessee play how they play. Bone is always advancing the ball, whether by quickly off the dribble, but he looks up ahead. That time Turner standing wide open. Miscommunication, lack of communication, just throws it up the floor. Nobody there. Turner a great shooter.
You ever just leave the gooseneck hanging there?
Leave the hand in the cookie jar, right?
Yeah. So Silva going back to the free throw line after the second on Derek Walker.
They do have a bit of a swagger.
Oh, I mean, that makes them fun, right?
Yeah, it really does.
All good teams have swagger.
Yes.
And let me amend that. All great teams have swagger. Silva 6 of 6 from the line. It's a 20-point first half. His career high is 32. That came against Auburn in a home win in an upset last week.
And there are a lot of people wondering, can Silva score the ball, right? He's giving you some answers.
You're talking about at the next level, being an elite scorer?
It just not even be the lead. Can you score enough? Can you make shots that make a defense want to guard you? Have to guard you.
He's made 2 threes tonight and 2 attempts from deep, and now he gets deep on Grant Williams. And they're going to get Lamonte Turner for his 3rd personal foul. Now that's a key for Tennessee because we told you a couple times it doesn't seem like Jordan Bowden's going to play in this game.
And if I'm Turner, maybe I give him this one instead of picking up my 3rd. But again, most guards, not all, most guards can control their foul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Out front, it's different when you're down low, big guys mixing and matching. Turner can give space to another guard. You can give a step here or there. You don't have to reach in. So picking up his 3rd is not good, but I don't think it's disastrous.
And so Jalen Johnson will enter. Only played 2 minutes last time out. That was Tennessee's Saturday win against West Virginia. Blew out the Mountaineers 83-66. That was the only game this season in which Tennessee has trailed by double digits. 9-point deficit here for South Carolina. Schofield's been quiet. He wants the lob. Second time they've missed on the lob.
That's a terrific read by Silva. He wasn't guarded. Switched off from Williams and deflected that lob. That was just would have been an easy bucket.
Almost a 2-second difference. Shot clock, game clock. Silva looking for his 3rd three. Shot clock off now. And Tennessee will use the timeout, up 9 with 12.7 left. Silva has drawn 6 fouls in this half already, and the fouls have piled up for the Tennessee starters.
And maybe that wasn't a good 3 attempt because you could have waited till the last shot of the half. He's made a couple. He's scored the ball. He's done everything right on both ends of the floor, and sometimes you got to let it go.
He's got 22 points and 6 of 10 shooting to go with 5 boards.
And a wide variety of moves on the offensive end, besides just facing up and knocking in a couple threes, a couple jump hooks. He has posted down low. He has gone out outside, and most opponents don't mind him stepping out, but he's delivered again tonight.
He has shown incredible growth on the Karl Malone watch list, best power forward in college basketball. South Carolina has some head-scratching non-conference losses, including a trip to Laramie, Wyoming, in which Silva went 3 of 14 from the field and 0 of 2 from 3. But that game's in the rear view. Game clock at 6 for Tennessee. Bone.
Stop, go, pace.
Lost it, and the clock will run out. Bone begging for a whistle. He didn't get it. Tennessee with a 47-38 at the lead at the half. Grant Williams pleads his case. He won't be quiet about it. Williams at Bone 27, rest of the team 20. Silva leading the way for South Carolina. Let's get to the SEC halftime report. Peter Burns, Pat Bradley, gentlemen.
Thank you, Thomas Hart. I think Pat Bradley, if you would have told me that Chris Silva would have scored 21 points, you'd be thinking, hey, South Carolina probably has a lead against the #1 team in the country. Alas, that is not the case. I am Peter Burns. You're Pat Bradley.
Someday.
PB.
Someday, right? Peter. You can say that maybe.
Tennessee looking for their first undefeated January since 1945. Got off to a really good start. What did you see out there so far?
I just see a team from Tennessee. First, we'll start with Tennessee. Yeah. And you just see how they are so smart because they quickly identify where the weak spot is on the defense. Yeah. That may be Grant Williams on the block. That's quick. Jordan Bone attacking the basket. And what makes him so special, he can get by anybody, but you got to respect him on the offensive end. He can score it. So that will draw the defenders, and then he dishes. So the ability of Tennessee to identify the weakness from the defense quickly, then they've got players that can make them pay.
I saw it on Twitter. Houston Crest had tweeted, it's like Jordan Bone right now looks like Peyton Manning out there with the way. 5 assists in that first half. The thing as well for Bone, how important is that? Because Jordan Bowden, a little bit banged up with the knee right before the game, that he is the guy stepping it up today.
PB, here's what the great thing is, okay? Bowden, not feeling well. I don't know if it was his knee that he injured, but this is what they can do. Lamonte Turner comes in off the bench. He can go to the 1, or he can stay at the 2, take Jordan Bone off the point guard position. Now Jordan Bone becomes an attacker aggressively. So they've got, because of Lamonte Turner and how talented he is scoring the ball and running the team, they can live without that.
By the way, they're doing this all with Admiral Schofield being in a funk. He's still only 1 of 4 from the field, struggled in the last 3 games. We'll see what happens in that second half. A game that's going on right now is Georgia and Arkansas. All right, come on, talk to me, Hog fan. You're ready for this one. Well, Nicholas Claxton scores around the post against Daniel Gafford.
Hey, Claxton has grown up so much now because we know his great length, but he's been able to slow his game down, score in the lane. He runs the point a lot of times as well. One thing we know about Georgia is their great length. The one thing that they've done differently this year, though, they spread you out. You see that great cut to the basket because they don't have that traditional point guard. Yeah. So all 5 guys have to move.
A lot of guys are scoring and moving very well for the Tennessee Volunteers. They find themselves up 9 at half.
Check out the Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's Spring Fever sale for huge savings. Like Cabela's multi-tools in 6 colors, 2 for $10. And the Bass Pro 6.5 quart aluminum fish fryer for under $30. Your adventure starts here.
If my skin was dry, it would look like this. But Gold Bond Men's Lotion has 7 moisturizers and skin strengthening proteins for smoother, healthier looking skin. Man up.
You work hard to build a better life and a better world. Now you can do both by ditching your big bank and switching to Aspiration. Aspiration helps you spend and save with a conscience, and Aspiration trusts you to pay only the fee you think we deserve, even if it's 0. So use any ATM in the world for free. Switch at aspiration.com. Save money, save the planet.
of 3 states, things that come in threes are inherently more appealing than those that don't. We couldn't agree more. Three SUVs, 1 GMC. Ring in the new year with a new GMC. Get 19% below MSRP on these select models in stock.
See your select GMC dealer today.
Hey, Charlie. Hey, Steve. Who's feeding the cows? Josh is taking care of them. I was packing Jack up. Oh, yeah? Where's he going? College. College? Yeah. Little red-headed, freckle-faced Jack? Yeah, little Jack. 6'3" now, if you can believe that. You need a cup of coffee. I'll put a pot on. Oh, yeah. Sounds good. Come on.
You know, being number one, it's
It's a big accomplishment, you know. It's really cool. You know, the kid inside of you can say, you know, I play on the best team currently in the country.
I knew it was something special with the team, and just going back to that Gonzaga game.
Admiral Schofield, a three! Tennessee comes back to knock off the unbeaten Zags.
That's a show right there, huh?
It's amazing. Nobody thought we would win that game, and just how we came together as a team and a unit.
When you look around the country at the best programs that are there every year, you've got to admire them, because it's not as easy as everybody thinks.
We've earned it, and we've built ourselves up to this standard. And now, just as fast as we built it up, we can lose it.
And the #1 team in college basketball for sure is Tennessee, taking on Vandy.
The little step through, the dish, the dunk!
Rivalry game within the state on the road.
Alley-oop. Oh, wow! What a play to Bowden! Williams camps out. Spin move, baseline. And the foul! His 40th point! And Tennessee will stay #1.
We're going to get, you know, everybody best shot this year. You know, they want to be where we at, and, you know, it's just about us going about our business and executing what we got to execute.
This is why they're #1. You're seeing it now, baby. The Vols. Oh, they're going wild.
At the end of the day, we do have that #1 beside our name, but we're still chasing something. We're still hungry, and we still have to fight.
We know that we've got a lot of work to do as a team to get better, but we don't want to shy away from it. We've told them to have fun with it, and let's just see if we can continue to live up to the standard that we set for ourselves at the start of the season.
Kind of sounds like everything I heard from the San Antonio Spurs during their run over the last couple of years. We saw the win against Gonzaga earlier this year, and I felt like that was a breakthrough moment for this team, right? It wasn't like North Carolina in a couple years ago. Right, Haley said they would get close but couldn't pull it off. What does a win like that against Gonzaga do to all of a sudden excel them into this #1 team in the country where they feel pretty comfortable?
Well, you're talking about they were able to finish. It's one thing to be able to compete against these high-level teams, but the difference is, do you have a team that can finish? It takes mental toughness, physical toughness, being able to understand what plays to make at the end of games. To me, that's what separates Tennessee, is they have multiple ways to beat you, right? So there's a number of guys who can get you 20 to 25 points. They have athleticism now. Kyle Alexander is playing out of this world. Yves Pons is playing out of this world.
The flying Frenchman.
We know about peanut butter and jelly. We know about Schofield and Williams. I think Jordan Bone is the most underrated point guard in America. His ability to get that offense, the tempo going up, or slow it down and get it to Williams and Schofield on the block, or run some sort of a set on the half court.
What I love is that you and I, we hosted morning radio today, and we were talking about it on SiriusXM about with Jay Billis, with Chris Matola, guys across the country right now. You know what they're talking about? This team deserves to be the #1 team in the country. Everyone else is looking at the SEC, and they're looking at this squad as being that team. One weakness, if at all, that you might see coming up?
They tend to not have a sense of urgency on the defensive end that they showed last season. Not to mean they can't do it, but they just got to get back to that sense of urgency, every defensive possession on point.
I still think they're hungry and they're ready to go, and so far we've seen that in the first half. 47-38, Tennessee looking like the #1 team in the country because of the play of that young man, Grant Williams. He's got 17 points, and they are up 9 over the Gamecocks in Columbia.
What really drew me to basketball was after my dad passed at my last little JV basketball game. He loved basketball and he loved to watch me play, so he was just like my best friend, honestly. Just someone I could just go outside, play with, talk to. When I tape my wrist, I put his rest in peace, DEH, his initials on it. I look down at my tape a lot of times and I just know I gotta keep working, keep doing what I do to help me and the team.
Hey, who are you?
Oh, hey, Jeff, I'm a car thief.
What?
I'm here to steal your car because, well, that's my job.
What?
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 It happens. And if you got cut rate car insurance, paying for this could feel like getting robbed twice. So get Allstate. And be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Support your favorite college at Fanatics.com, the largest assortment of officially licensed fan gear from more than 500 colleges. Every conference, every team. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Home sweet home. Your sanctuary. You know you need to protect it with home security, but traditional alarm companies have made things so complicated, you just keep putting it on the bottom of your list. SimpliSafe is changing that with an arsenal of sensors and cameras designed to blanket you with protection, ready to set up right out of the box. So put home security back on the top of your list with SimpliSafe. Visit simplisafe.com for a limited time offer.
If you're in the market, your nest egg's been on a wild ride lately. Personal Capital can help with a free investment checkup. You'll get all these free retirement and investing tools, plus this free guide at personalcapital.com/guide.
It means sacrifice, and not just for my family and friends, but for everybody.
It's doing research that'll really help people.
Putting in the hours, pushing myself so I can be a better teammate.
Knowing that the work I do today isn't just for me.
Being a Tennessee volunteer means giving light to others, giving your all, and I love that I get to be a part of that.
Pat Bradley, Peter Burns, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what happens in this game between Mississippi State and Alabama right now. Mississippi State playing a little bit better, but down in Tuscaloosa, it's a tough place to win in Coleman Coliseum.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Mississippi State has got to take care of the ball, and they have got to value their possessions. They got plenty of ball handlers now, guys who can take care of it, but it's about Alabama, their length, and if their offense is going to stay on the attack.
Look at the difference right now, though. Talking about being on the attack, Mississippi State, home versus road. 15 points less a game when they travel. And I guarantee you that Alabama Crimson Tide crowd is going to be rocking tonight, especially with Kyra Lewis and everyone else. All right, Tennessee's up 9 at half, but how about Chris Silva getting it done single-handedly, keeping the Gamecocks in this one? Second half coming up after the break.
In the South, there's a zest for life that's unrivaled. From family gatherings to football games, we enjoy good food, great fun, and warm hospitality. And we always do it with style. For generations, Belk has been a Southern staple, helping families celebrate life. In fact, we've been around about as long as college football. Belk, celebrating 130 years of modern Southern style.
When you find the perfect house, it's like this whole new life flashes before your eyes. We get it. The right mortgage makes a million little things possible. So we make it easy to apply on your phone for a Regions mortgage in about 7 minutes. About the time it takes to whip up homemade guacamole for your housewarming party. Apply on your phone in minutes.
SEC Women's Basketball Tournament is tipping off in Greenville, South Carolina, March 6th through the 10th. Be a part of the experience. This is your opportunity to witness the best student athletes in the country compete for the 2019 SEC Tournament Championship title. We will see you in that Greenville. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit secsports.com. SEC Women's Basketball. It just means more.
Not getting enough cash back with that credit card? Turn to the nerds. Want to invest that bonus? Turn to the nerds. Looking for the perfect mortgage? Turn to the nerds. Oops, sorry about that. Hey there, need a travel rewards card? Turn. Auto loan? 2. Want a lower interest rate? The nerds. The experts at NerdWallet make it easy to make smart money moves. Compare credit cards, mortgages, savings accounts, and more at nerdwallet.com.
Wireless for $15 a month. That's not right.
It's right, all right. Carpet showers? That's not right.
That's not right.
Neither is the way you get wireless. Mint Mobile took what's wrong with wireless and made it right. We're easy, online, and just $15 a month. Get your plan today at mintmobile.com.
Well, I knew the night was going to the dogs, and I put on my socks today with pictures of Larry on them, but then you show up at the arena, and they really are taking over the world. South Carolina, the underdogs tonight. They're looking for another upset win, but it's been all Tennessee early. Tom Hart alongside John Sunville. Volunteers showing why they're number one. They can beat you a variety of ways.
You know, we talk about Schofield. We talk about Williams. This is my second time in person this year
to see the guy who runs the show, Jordan Bone. I'm trying to figure out, I don't know if there's a better lead guard in the SEC, and I'm going to rank him as high as top 4 or 5 in the country. Well, why is that? He controls the pace. He can make shots. He's a great defender, great distributor. He's got 10 points, 6 assists. He kind of carries the load, and he doesn't overdo it. I mean, he's controlled everything. It's been fun to watch.
6 assists, only 2 turnovers. One of those came late. Grant Williams, 7 of 11 shooting. Chris Silva has attempted a third of the shots for South Carolina. Kind of feels like a football game in here right now. That's a compliment to the South Carolina students. 5,000 strong. An 18,000 seat building.
And what they would like is the first few minutes, some instant energy. A couple misses by Tennessee, a couple breakouts, a couple buckets. Get them back in here quickly. If it goes the other way, then they've got to be quiet.
You got any Swedish DJs on your play mix?
A bunch. Yeah, figured. I got to turn it down when I get in the neighborhood, though. You get that.
Keep the property values up. Here's Schofield from the elbow, trying to get his offensive game going. It should be a concern for Tennessee. Bryant on the run out right into Schofield, and Lawson follows.
So, first one, how you want to go, South Carolina.
And Schofield gets this one. His buckets tonight have come in the paint.
Obviously a quiet first half, not only for Schofield, but for Kyle Alexander, who's now on the floor again. He had 2 personal fouls early, only played 3 minutes. Maybe there's a focal point to get Schofield going, just get his confidence, but I'm sure Rick Barnes isn't worried about that one guy.
Makes it a 3-point play. Rick Barnes has a team that plays together, but they're a team of independent thinkers. He's not afraid to challenge, for example, Grant Williams. Grant Williams isn't afraid to go back at his coach.
Yeah. And we saw Grant Williams very vocal with a couple of the officials on the floor in the first half.
Yeah, you get Player of the Year honors. You earn a little bit of leeway. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair. And when we saw, he was just simply asking questions, wanted explanations to a couple things. One was on him, one was on his teammate Bone. They thought Bone got fouled at the end of that first half. So being a leader he was, Williams just went over the official, asked some questions. Did you see everything?
Silva got loose for a minute, but it's Lawson who has scored here in the second half. It's a 7-point game.
And I'm sure the emphasis for South Carolina was get back on defense, especially after a made bucket.
Alexander has to fight for his own rebound. Steve Pons, they lay off of him, and Silva nearly got a steal. They won't guard Pons at 20 feet.
But you can't give Tennessee 2 or 3 opportunities on the offensive end.
Pons turned that into a tough shot, but Grant Williams was waiting.
And Grant Williams knew on the weak side when Pons caught it and put it on the floor, he went for the low spot to try to get an offensive rebound.
I was talking to Grant in the offseason. He said, we know each other so well that we know each other's faults. We know what the other guys aren't good at, and that helps us as a team. That might be a prime example.
And the key to that is you want your teammate to do what they do.
Yeah.
If you got shooters, go shoot so you know what he's going to do.
I don't know what the halftime speech was, but it got A.J. Lawson fired up.
And Lawson then gives them another weapon. He's been terrific all season long. Inconsistent at times like any freshman would be. He's got the ability to make shots as we've seen outside, and he's got body control to score at the rim.
It was the third on Alexander. He's going to stay in the game for the time being. I take it back. He'll come out in a moment. Pons was the first one out. Rick Barnes not happy with him.
Well, what happens, you get beat off the dribble out front, and that puts pressure on Alexander, who picks up the contact.
Fulkerson will enter at the next dead ball for Alexander, who's got 3. They get Bryant trying to fight around the screen for holding Schofield. And Bryant saying he's holding me. It's a third on Keyshawn Bryant.
Freshman guarding a senior. Not easy.
Bryant stays out there with 3. Williams trying to work on Kotsar. Thinks he has a mismatch, and it's an offensive foul for the Star. Just the second on Grant Williams.
And Rick Barnes jumps up and tells Grant Williams to pass the ball. Easy call. Good play by Kotsar. Keep moving the feet.
Now,
take the bump, and that's a big bump.
If you're Williams and you're guarded by 6'11", 264, don't you figure you have an advantage?
Yeah, and the thing is, Williams tried to use really some speed, but then power. You can't go through people. Just go around them.
Kotsar goes into Williams. Wow.
How about that? The only thing Kotsar lacks, as Frank Martin said sometimes, is just confidence to keep doing that night after night.
Kotsar gets whistled for his second. Rick Barnes is all up in Grant Williams.
That's something that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
He doesn't hold back for either his star players, Schofield or Williams.
Schofield off the inbound design play, got him a clean look. Lead back to 7. Lawson's been the offensive threat for Carolina. Through the wickets on Kotsar. Not a great pass. The lob coming. Bad pass on both ends. Bone doesn't do that very often.
He does not, and it is almost as though it was a mistimed, not only the pass, but Jalen Johnson kind of bent down to then take off.
Yeah.
And I think Bone thought he was going to take off right away.
Lawson, Kotsar. Who had those two guys as the keys to South Carolina's offense in the second half? What a dish by Bone. Fulkerson rebounds it in.
These types of plays are almost Bone's possessions when he comes down. Keep an eye on Bone because he controls everything.
Silva wanting it. Got Fulkerson in the jaw with that post up. Double came from Williams up top. And Silva somehow snuck through and won. Johnny got from one side of the lane to the other with one step.
1, 2, 3 Tennessee defenders. None of them could stop him.
24 for Chris Silva. He'll go to the line to look for his 25th in a moment.
I'm a bunch of wind. And just like your stomach after that strip mall sushi, well, I'm a bit unpredictable. Let's redecorate. What's the matter, Tanya? I thought you loved being spontaneous. I do. And if you got the wrong home insurance coverage, I might break the bank, too. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
How do you gauge the greatness of an SUV? Is it to carry cargo or to carry on a legacy? Its show of strength or its sign of intelligence? In crossing harsh terrain or breaking new ground? And to do these things once or 7 times over? This is the Mercedes-Benz SUV family. Get the 2019 GLC starting at $40,700. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
You work hard to build a better life and a better world. Now you can do both by ditching your big bank and switching to Aspiration. Aspiration helps you spend and save with a conscience, and Aspiration trusts you to pay only the fee you think we deserve, even if it's zero. So use any ATM in the world for free. Switch at aspiration.com. Save money, save the planet.
Time for a studio update. Razorbacks host in Georgia and Bud Walton Arena. Arkansas down by as many as 9 early. Mason Jones with a nice lay-in. Arkansas takes the lead. Now back to 2 huge Frisbee dog connoisseurs, Tom Hart and John Sunvolt.
How about that?
A submarine is just an underwater Wienermobile. Keep that in mind, Peter. Here's a look at the conference standings. South Carolina right there. We're a third of the way through conference play, right? So South Carolina tied with Kentucky with 1 loss. Trying to catch up with LSU in undefeated Tennessee. Ole Miss 4-2 with a great season so far from Kermit Davis. And Auburn's kind of falling off the map.
Yeah, tough start, tough games. They had a tough little go for the last couple of weeks. Ole Miss stubbing their toe a couple times, lost to Iowa State at home. Iowa State, I think, is the most talented team in the Big 12.
It's been noted before, but in case you weren't aware, the SEC did lose the SEC Big 12 Challenge, but 3 of the SEC's ranked teams did not play in the challenge. The participants are chosen in 2-year cycles based on the performance prior. We're in the second year of the 2-year cycle.
And I think the challenge every year, I mean, teams are pretty equal to me. Is can a road team win? And there was only one that won. That was Iowa State.
Which off of Tennessee will be South Carolina basketball down 4.
Pressure handled easily by Tennessee. Another missed shot. South Carolina, now this place will explode with a bucket here. Gravitt's been quiet.
Turned it over, trying to get it to Silva. Schofield scoops it in.
How about that body control? Schofield likes to play to the audience. Smile here, smirk there, a couple words to a couple people of the student body.
Kotsar with the crossover.
That's pretty good.
Silva somehow finds it. And we got a foul on South Carolina on the rebound, and Mike Kotsar got him for a shove. His 3rd. Frank Martin's been quiet tonight. So we were talking during the break. Tennessee can seemingly get just about any look they want in the half court.
Yeah, I think so. They've not had a problem getting the ball where they want to. Now with Bone out, maybe South Carolina do some different things. Silver tried to step quickly up to get to Turner.
Pressure defense by South Carolina. And we're going to hold on A.J. Lawson.
It honestly, to the fans who are yelling, they may be yelling correctly. It's not fair for Lawson or Bryant, 2 freshmen, when you got to guard a senior like Schofield. Yeah. He knows how to use his body. He knows where to grab the defender to position himself.
And according to the rule book, if you post up with an arm out like that, and that was basically a post up, it should be a foul on the offensive player prior to Lawson with the grab. Schofield with bodies on the floor. And a walk. That might even things out. Derek Walker will return.
Since SEC play, Gravitt has averaged 15 points a ballgame. Quiet tonight with only 2 points. But Lawson's been the guy of the second half.
I've always thought Hassani Gravitt has been a key for this team. Schofield seemingly kept it alive on his way down. Because his outside shooting can open up a lot of different things.
Yeah, it really does. When he's inconsistent and not so good in the offensive end, they don't play very well.
Schofield starting to feel it. He's got 9 in the second half.
And starting to make some noise.
Wow. An early 3 from Trey Campbell goes. Schofield again.
And why not?
Blocked by Silva.
Weak side, you know he's coming. But Schofield has scored, and you knew they would go back to him. So did Silva.
His second block of the game. Awkward inbound position for Tennessee with 6 on the shot clock. They got Bone covered up. Shot clock. Got it off quick. And it's the freshman A.J. Lawson with the board.
What a terrific rebound.
Campbell for 3 again. And he's fouled on the jumper by Schofield. Gamecocks hanging in, and now a chance to whittle the lead down to 1 possession.
Terrific rebound by Lawson, and because he's a lead guard, he simply looked up the floor. Campbell had just made the shot previously on the 3 and quickly loaded it up. And big man Schofield, who's running straight at the shooter and not to the side of the shooter. That's why the contact.
Trey Campbell, grad transfer from Georgetown, a D.C. native. Originally a 4-star recruit out of St. John's College High School. And he's got one more coming. He's trying to make it a 2-point game. Line change for Tennessee. Williams, Alexander, Pons all return for the Volunteers. Silva will get a breather. You think he's out till the under 12?
Probably. Now look for Tennessee to see if they put the ball more in Williams' hands. It'll stay in Bone's hands. You got Turner off screens, Williams down low instead of a Schofield down low.
Trey Campbell, SEC high 11 points. The crowd is alive. Nobody heard the whistle on the hip check from Kotsar. And the crowd was so loud. Evan Hinson at the point of the pressure couldn't communicate with his own guys, and Bone took advantage.
A 1-2-2 half-court trap or press. Bone just threw over the top of it.
Yeah. So they wanted Silva to rest a little bit. He's got to come right back out because Kotsar committed his 4th.
But nobody could hear anything. Glad we have headsets.
Yes. Turner off the inbounds. Player of the year, Grant Williams. Bone left Hinson behind. And he got the foul. Silva. It's his second.
The explosion by Bone off the dribble. Quickly gets to the paint, and that puts all kinds of pressure on your backside defense.
So Jordan Bone to the free throw line, 84% on the season. Bone's got a dozen. Tennessee's lead is 4. Frank Martin's losing his mind.
Well, and he doesn't want guys to stay on the bounce, whether it's Campbell, whether it's Gravett. Don't stay on the bounce, meaning get rid of the ball, move the basketball, make Tennessee move defensively.
Silva was open on the slip. Here's Hinson. And a rebound by Kyle Alexander.
I hit one the first half, had an open look. Hinson, though, getting back defensively, didn't see Pons behind him. Tennessee missed one for an easy layup.
Nice dish. Pons an extra pass. Here's Bone. Great team basketball. Jordan Bone with another triple.
Grant Williams simply plays the game to see where they're going to come and double team. I was on Silva on the weak side. Good cut by Pons, by Alexander to give it to Bone.
They get Grant Williams for the foul, and 2 shots coming for Felipe Haase. It's a 3rd on Williams. That's a key.
Well, when the challenges come to Tennessee, they respond. They share the basketball. And our guy Bone, another bucket.
Gatorade studies the best athletes to create the most advanced range of sports fuel. Gatorade. You fuel us, we fuel you.
When an accident, theft, or severe weather knock you down, Shelter Insurance is there to help pick you up. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Tennessee #1 for the second consecutive week. First time in school history. Taking the flashback machine to show you the last time. It was when Bruce Pearl was the head coach at Tennessee. Had the great rivalry going with Memphis at the time, coached by John Calipari, and took the Volunteers to their first ever #1 national ranking. They finished with 31 wins and 14-2 in conference play and a #2 seed in the tournament. The loss in the Sweet 16 to Louisville. They finished #7 in the country. Chris Lofton was battling cancer that year. Nobody knew. He still shot the lights out. He was a very likable, if not lovable, star for Tennessee. And Grant Williams hasn't had the off-court issues that Lofton did in terms of health, but he is just as likable. By the way, first loss for Tennessee that year was against Rick Barnes' Texas team. How about that?
And when you look at that postseason, NCAA Sweet 16, that will not be good enough for this current Tennessee squad.
And that's how they're going to be judged, right?
Yes, yes.
They could be the greatest team in school history, but the postseason is the ultimate judge.
Well, and I think the postseason from a year ago set them on a track this season.
Yep.
The great summer workouts. The disappointment.
Lost to Loyola. They were a 3 seed. Finished 26-9 last year under Rick Barnes.
Matchup 2-3 zone. Who's going to find Williams in the middle? So good. See if Schofield can deliver it.
Shot clock is at 5. Turner didn't see it.
They matched up man on the pass to the corner.
It's at 1. Did they get it off? They play on. And a run out for Gravett. Everybody stop. And Gravett gets a breakout bucket.
You're right, Tom. Everybody stop. So difficult to hear in this building. But you can't stop. Got to keep playing. Gravett's got to stay solid, stay in front of Bone.
Lamonte Turner against the zone, held it again. His 3rd 3 of the night.
And it's almost a miscommunication. You can't leave the best shooter out standing all by himself.
What about that shot from Gravett?
Too quick. And again, anytime guys want to force the issue because they haven't scored. Gravett hasn't made anything in the score. I said last time down, it's kind of it was a matchup zone, and once it went to the corner, but it never got to the corner, so they went zone.
Schofield with the 3.
He's had an answer in his second half.
Schofield has 10 of his 16 in the second half. They will salute the Admiral, sizing up Hinson and splashing one down.
Get back to the ball. Go get it, Omar.
SEC Inside.
Stay surrendering.
We take you behind the scenes.
We haven't even begun to play our best basketball yet.
And give you inside access.
Stay with our plan. Let's have some fun. Enjoy this, baby.
Monday, it's an SEC Inside doubleheader. Vanderbilt at 9, followed by Texas A&M at 9:30 on the SEC Network.
Some people just weren't meant to work in an office.
Excuse me. Hi. I was wondering if you could help with some filing. You know what? Maybe I'll just do it myself.
Put your potential to work at Lincoln Tech.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics, world-class care in Middle Tennessee for more than 20 years. Proven treatments tailored to your specific pain. Leading-edge technology, from regenerative stem cells to robotic-assisted knee surgery.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics has changed my life. My quality of life's better. I have no more pain. It is just terrific to live again.
When experience matters, Houston Clinic Orthopedics, with 9 locations to heal you.
Let's take a look at tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate and Admiral Schofield taking over here in the second half.
You knew he would. He has struggled for 3 games on the offensive end. He's not relied on the jump shot until right before the timeout when he delivered this one. Again, confident, big swagger, then he usually has a little bit of things to say to the people on the sideline.
A leadership type name. His dad was in the Navy for nearly a quarter century, but that's not exactly how he got the name Admiral. You know those insurance companies that advertised in the day, the little guy with the general hat, if you wanted to call the general and save some time?
Yeah.
They have that same ad that runs overseas. When his dad was in England, he saw the ad, but instead of the general, it's the Admiral. And he turned to his buddy and he said, you know what? Admiral sounds like a good name for one of my sons. And lo and behold, he's named after a cartoon insurance salesperson.
Well, he doesn't play that well. Second team All-SEC last year.
Isn't Shaq in those ads? Maybe Admiral, when he gets to the next level, take over that spot.
There you go. Zone defense now by Volunteers. Terrific pass. Grab it inside. Hasse with a bucket.
Interesting screen from Schofield. Senior guarded by a freshman. Beautiful pass, and Turner reverses it in.
What a finish. They worked at shoot-around on backdoor cuts. If there was pressure, relieve the pressure by the backdoor cut. Terrific pass. Maybe even a better finish.
Lawson. And the ball will belong to South Carolina.
Watch the pass. And you've got one of the great shot blockers in college basketball at the rim. And that's where Turner takes it. Up one side, down, underneath, goes finishes on the other.
Shot was blocked in the corner. Silva got fouled. And it's the 4th on Alexander. So Chris Silva and Grant Williams, the 2 leaders on this team, have both caught an air ball and turned it into a bucket. I mean, they just always seem to be at the right place at the right time.
Now, that's the second play, though. Silva has had the ball by the rim that I would just let him finish the play.
Instead of fouling.
Yeah, Alexander picked up his 4th personal foul. It's not worth it. First half, Turner had picked up his 3rd personal, but you don't worry about, again, the guard position. To me, they can handle that out front. But Alexander now gets to have a seat. I would have rather taken an earful from the coach and you didn't make the play, but you're still on the floor.
Silva has more free throw attempts than Tennessee as a team. He makes 1 of 2 that time.
The key is, can the Gamecocks get some stops? Tennessee really being able to get what shots they want, take the ball where they want on the court.
Williams faces up and splashes it down.
So good reverse pivot to face up. Now you've got your defender in a bind. Doesn't know where you're going. Williams just simply jumps over the top.
Tennessee throws some zone out there. And Gravett threw it away.
No, I think Gravett had the right idea. I think he had a lob. Watch this as the reverse pivot to now face up. Defensively, if you get even chest to chest, Williams probably goes by you. On the road, very comfortable on the offensive end, this Volunteer squad.
Play as a team, 2nd in the country in assists per game. Another face-up for Williams. Offensive board. And one for Derek Walker. His first bucket comes at a big time for Big Orange. It's their largest lead of the game. and will have a chance to add to it by going to the free throw line. Tennessee undefeated in SEC play, looking to go to 7-0 if they can finish this one off on the road.
You probably don't spend a lot of time thinking about banking. You're probably more focused on living for today and planning for tomorrow. That's why Regions puts you first. We know there's more to you than your checking account. You're dreaming about a vacation home, or season tickets for your team, or finally taking those paddleboarding lessons. With our people, our tech, and our tools, we make your life easier because we get it. Some things are bigger than banking.
Fact is, Americans move more than anyone else in the world. On average, we'll live in 11 homes.
Hey, let me help.
And every time we move, things change.
Guys, help your mom out.
Apartments become houses. Cars become minivans.
Mom, it's only an hour away.
As we upgrade and downsize. An Allstate agent will do the same for our protection. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
Home sweet home. Your sanctuary. You know you need to protect it with home security, but traditional alarm companies have made things so complicated, you just keep putting it on the bottom of your list. SimpliSafe is changing that, with an arsenal of sensors and cameras designed to blanket you with protection, ready to set up right out of the box. So put home security back on the top of your list with SimpliSafe. Visit SimpliSafe.com for a limited time offer.
Rick Barnes and Frank Martin are longtime friends. They brought this rivalry from the Big 12 into the SEC. And you take you back to the Octagon of Doom. Number 1 Texas, 10th ranked Kansas State 2010 on a big Monday, and Kansas State would get the better of them. Frank had a great team that year. Samuels had a big game. They were led by Jacob Pullen. Everybody in the crowd was wearing beards. It was the second time that Frank Martin beat a number 1 team. The first came the year prior against number 1 Kansas. The bad news that night is Frank Martin, after the victory celebration inside the arena in Manhattan, Frank Martin, after the celebration, went out to get in his car. It had been towed. He left his parking space open for his wife and their kids to use. And he said, I'll just tuck my car back here by the strength building. Nobody will know the difference. Well, everybody who was parked back there got their cars towed.
I thought maybe coach, he parked in the head coach's spot, and the only head coach sometimes they recognized was Bill Snyder back in the day at K-State.
Yeah, that's true.
Welcome to reality, even when you have a big win.
14-point lead for the number 1 ranked team in the country. Grab it from the corner. So one of the concerns for Rick Barnes, and there really aren't many this season, is keeping his guys fresh.
Yeah.
And so he said that might be a reason we would mix in some zone, especially in the second half.
He's got a group of guys that play a lot of minutes. And Coach Boeheim from Syracuse that he's good friends with. He used to talk on the phone with him about his zone, and Boeheim would just tell him, yeah, you man-to-man guys go crazy when you go to a zone and then make 1 bucket on it. He said, you give up buckets in the man-to-man. Just be patient.
Frank is able to draw the foul on Walker. Pardon me. It's Schofield, and it's his second. Yeah, it was a great story. I mean, who else are you going to call? If you want to put in a 2-3 zone, you're going to call Jim Boeheim.
But he has a point, right? Most man-to-man defensive coaches will try a zone for whatever reason. Once in a while, they give up 1 bucket, and they'll go, see,
get out of the zone.
We're not good at it. Jim Boeheim was right. He said, you give up a 3 in a man-to-man, just don't worry about it. So Rick Barnes has put the zone in over the years. Not a lot, off and on. But we talked to him about minutes. Will guys wear down and get tired, and he'll play a lot of different zones, different ballgame.
Doug Shows asked for time. I think we've got a clock issue. Shot clock isn't working on the left side basket, but it is on the right side basket. So we got to get those equaled out. So they'll get the shot clocks equaled out. A lot of folks watching have noticed that both coaching staffs are wearing the same color ties, bringing awareness for coaching for literacy. Those really pop on the HD TV, don't they?
Yes, they do. Trying to wonder why they didn't drop a couple off over here.
If it's free, it's for me. I'd wear just about anything. Rick Barnes is a guy who not only has had a long and storied career, but he's done a fantastic job developing his guys and sending them to the next level. Here are the lottery picks that have played for Rick Barnes over the years.
Well, TJ Ford took him to the Final Four. Texas played 2 years at Texas as a freshman, averaged almost 9 assists a ball game. In his sophomore season, about 8 assists. National Player of the Year. Obviously, Kevin Durant, got to see him when he was a freshman play against Kansas.
He was pretty good,
game
huh?
there. Yeah, well, it was stunning to watch a kid like Kevin Durant when they came into Allen Fieldhouse. And Kansas has NBA guys, NBA defenders, couldn't defend him. Like, as deep as he was shooting it, I just shook my head.
You can see that the shot clocks are different. The one on the left side sitting at 13. Pretty good illustration there, huh? It's a pro.
Yeah, maybe you need to sharpen your fingernails.
I could use it. Talking to Rick Barnes about coaching Kevin Durant, he said, listen, I've been around the game for a while. People want to give me credit. He goes, at the end of the game when I had Kevin Durant, I would just look at everybody in the huddle, and then I'd look over at Kevin and say, go get us a bucket. And more often than not, he did.
Well, he did the same thing. TJ Ford was the same kind of player, right? Put it in their hands, let them make a play.
George Mason in Providence, including the 1994 Big East tournament title, 3 NCAA tournaments there, then Clemson and Texas. One of the early highlights of Rick Barnes' career as a young coach trying to stand up to the powers that be in the ACC was when he went head-to-head with Dean Smith. And he went to midcourt to challenge the legend. And if you do that anywhere in college basketball, let alone on Tobacco Road, you're going to get some attention.
Got attention. Some loved it. Some weren't happy. He's only one of 6 coaches to lead multiple schools to a #1 ranking. John Calipari, Frank McGuire, Rick Pitino, Eddie Sutton, Roy Williams. Pretty good company.
So we solved the problem. We just unplugged it.
It's
so
back
we'll keep
on.
that one.
Well, that's what you do. What do you do when your TV goes bad? Unplug, plug it back in at home, right? Coffee maker doesn't work. Unplug it, honey, and then plug it back in. Shake it a little bit.
The old TVs you could bang on the side. With plasmas, you can't do that anymore. You bang them on the side now, they'll fall off the wall.
Something happens.
So the lead is 13. And it's Tennessee's basketball. And after all that, we got it figured out. Kentucky goes into Vanderbilt later tonight. Part of Super Tuesday on ESPN.
Boy, Vandy had an opportunity right in front of their hands to knock off this Tennessee team.
And they went on the road and lost big against Oklahoma. Schofield got free. Nice duck in, and he finds his buddy. Grant Williams got fouled. Have you heard Schofield and Williams talk about being peanut butter and jelly? Grant says, you know, I'm the peanut butter because I bring the meat, and Schofield's a jelly because he's sweet and that pops a little bit.
Well, they do go well together. It all starts with Jordan Bone out front.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
So Jordan Bone would be the Fritos? I mean, because what goes better with a peanut butter jelly sandwich? Maybe a side of Fritos?
You like Fritos, huh?
You think I just lucked into this body? Williams 2 for 2.
So that's the question for South Carolina. You got to keep scoring, and then how do you get a stop? How do you change the pace of the game? How do you get the crowd at a fever pitch once again?
And if you don't make that move soon, then yeah, they're going to end up on UG Street. Here's Silva. And through the foul from Schofield. 11th foul drawn by Chris Silva. I was talking to him today before the game, and I said, you've developed so much as a player. How did you and to solve maybe too strong a word, but how did you refine your defense to the point where you don't foul as much? Because he's always a guy that helps the refs earn their money on both ends of the floor. And his point was it was just as much mental as it was physical, not only moving his feet to get in the right position, but knowing what that position was before the ball even entered the post.
Very similar to what Conzo Martin tries to tell Jeremiah Tilbert, the sophomore at Missouri, that seems to be a foul trouble.
Bone just blasts his way through. He's got 17.
Bone is always surveying, always looking, trying to find the openings and any cracks in the defense. If it's there, he takes it. If not, they set something up.
Gravett lets it fly.
Tough night.
And kind of feels like desperation. Not forever to 3 for South Carolina. Gravett 0 for 4 from deep. Schofield. Walker and Silva left his feet. It's the 4th on Chris Silva.
Speed and the attack mode, and it's from one gear to the next. He comes at a good pace, and then when he turns it on, if you're not in front of him, which most guys don't get in front of him, he's going to make the play. We've seen it all night.
Derek Walker Jr., sophomore from Kansas City, played AAU ball with Michael Porter Jr. and Trae Young. I'm guessing he never touched the basketball.
Set a lot of picks, and then he repicked.
If he misses this one, we get Chick-fil-A. Yes! Gravett turns it over. That might be, by the way, the best promotion
I think so.
in college basketball.
When you can get a full house to explode like that,
yeah,
when you're down 16.
I mean, I wouldn't put it in front of Red Panda, but it's worth noting. Scouting report from Blue Shambi at the Kansas-Texas game tonight is that Red Panda is in Austin, Texas. Along with Longhorn assistant Darren Horn is the last South Carolina coach, the only South Carolina coach to defeat the #1 team in the country.
Red Panda had a turnover in Columbia, Missouri.
I didn't see it, so I don't believe it.
All right.
I'm a Red Panda fan, and some would say a Red Panda apologist. Second on Alonzo Frink, but then again, I am part of that small fraternity of people who have had the honor of throwing bowls to it.
And maybe it was a turnover by the goal throw-up.
So here's the replay of the missed free throw. College kids will do anything for a chicken sandwich.
It's going to be a long line tonight at Chick-fil-A.
Yes, it will. Early start means they'll still be open. Walker struggling from the free throw line.
You might want to foul Walker right away.
Get you back in the game.
Yeah. Struggling with the free throw.
Lawson just not there for South Carolina as of late. And missed their last 5 attempts. Pardon me, their last 6 attempts now. They've gone nearly 5 minutes without a bucket. Under 5 to go. Comfortable lead for Tennessee. Rick Barnes has talked about his team and the wish to keep them fresh. At what point do you go to the bench?
2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, depending what the lead is. Since everybody had a look at the 14-point takeover from LSU, they were down 14 with 2:14 to go.
Yeah.
Right? Got to have a total comfort.
Amazing comeback for LSU on the road against Missouri on Saturday night when everybody else seemingly was playing in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. That bucket ended a scoring drought for South Carolina. And then Lawson gets a foul here. It's his 3rd. Gamecocks closed to within 2 with 13:07 to go. And since then, they've been outscored 24-11. Admiral Schofield. Silva back on the floor. He's got 4.
Challenging part against when you're playing Tennessee defensively. South Carolina, they have freshmen on the floor at different times, different freshmen. And because of the way Tennessee runs their offense, they're always going to have a switch and a mismatch. And when a freshman has to defend either Williams or Schofield or Bone, I mean, those guys just go to work.
Silva finally draws a foul. They're going to give it to Alexander. May have been a play late. Alexander fouls out with 3:52. A man who loves his socks, Peter Burns, is on the other side of this break.
Welcome to Pilot. Oh.
Hi, it's pretty bad.
We've got clean restrooms right over there. And showers, too. That's totally just an FYI.
Hey, I need...
Chips, drinks, ice, and hot dogs.
How'd you know that?
Is that pizza? Yeah, we make it fresh throughout the day. Coffee, cold fountain drink. Grab and go case. We've got great things for people on the go, like sandwiches and fruit cups and salads. We've got soups and chili.
Megan's smile is getting a lot of attention. That's because she goes beyond brushing with ACT mouthwash. ACT freshens breath and strengthens enamel, protects teeth from harmful acids, and helps prevent cavities. Protect your smile every day. Go beyond brushing with ACT.
Next time your crew gets together, try Zaxby's Boneless Wings Meal with Caribbean Jerk Sauce. Customize your flavor with any of our 9 delicious sauces, or try our new Caribbean Jerk Sauce, featuring fruity mango, spicy habanero, and jerk spices. Zaxby's.
You work hard to build a better life and a better world. Now you can do both by ditching your big bank and switching to Aspiration. Aspiration helps you spend and save with a conscience, and Aspiration trusts you to pay only the fee you think we deserve, even if it's 0. So use any ATM in the world for free. Switch at aspiration.com. Save money, save the planet.
A lot more hoops coming up. 9 o'clock over on ESPN. Keldon Johnson, Kentucky's taking on a Vanderbilt. The Cats have won 6 straight, looking to make it 7. John Petty says, hey, if I make my first 2 shots, I know it's going to be a good night. They are playing out of the hump in 13 minutes. Back to Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce fans. Heart and Sunday.
I feel like I got to explain as you look at Tennessee's leading scorers tonight. So fans out there are confused. The promotion here in the building is at the 8-minute mark. If the opposing team misses 2 free throws in a row, everybody gets free Chick-fil-A. It's that simple. So he had missed his first, and then they were just waiting to blow up. Tennessee doesn't get bothered by silly promotions. They get bothered by much. Silva back to the free throw line. 27 points tonight. So against the last 2 ranked teams he's played, Silva has scored a total of 59 points. That includes 32 in the home upset against Auburn last week. Pretty good. You can be your best against the best. I thought, though, that in the last few minutes, Silva just came back on the floor about a minute ago in clock time. When South Carolina's offense was looking lost, they could have gotten it back out there earlier.
You know, the challenging part was Silva going well. Then South Carolina, where they've won games in the SEC, is that their guard court has shot the ball well. Tonight, Lawson from three-point line, 1 of 5. Gravitt 0 of 4. Only Campbell is the one that has stepped up and made some outside shots. 3 of 4 beyond the three-point line.
Campbell's got 14, his SEC high. Williams is going backdoor. It's stolen by Kotsar after the Monte Turner save. And John Fulkerson will reach in and commit the foul. South Carolina has had 6 different players combined to miss 46 games due to injury. Justin Minaya has only played in 5 games this year. Tonight's a 15th consecutive game he's missed, but he's getting closer to returning. He was out there today, didn't participate in South Carolina's shoot around, but they're starting to put more and more on his plate. And it seems like he's closer to a return. That would be a big boost to Frank Martin's team.
You know, a guy a year ago that had 8 points and 5 rebounds a ball game, started 5 games before his injury. 3 of those games was double figures, but for Minaya.
Jason Cudd out with a knee injury. You saw him a moment ago. bring a double on Williams, and he passes right out of it. Loose ball finds Schofield. Another offensive board. That is the 12th.
Strong hands, forearms. Williams is so good with his positioning.
What's Tennessee's weakness?
I don't know. I really don't know. Solid defensively. Good offensively. Share the basketball. They lead the league in assists. They lead the league in points, in field goal percentage, in free throw percentage, in defensive field goal percentage. You know, Tom, a weakness would be on a night you're playing somebody else that's got 2 or 3 guys that just all of a sudden shoot lights out against you.
Yeah. I think it's the consistency of their stars, right? Schofield was having a bad night. Well, he's gone off and scored 18 in the second half to give him 22. And Grant Williams, I think he had an off night at Missouri maybe, but otherwise he shows up every single night. And when you do that, that consistency is it's shown. There's some measurables out there that shows just how valuable that can be. Under 2 and another offensive board. And the way it is right now,
and they're doing this against a really good South Carolina team in the last few weeks.
Yes.
Without Jordan Bowden, who's been out tonight for Tennessee. Another guy that's a double-figure guy.
So here's some advanced numbers on Grant Williams. Win shares of 5. 32.7, that leads the SEC. And you, okay, so you say, well, how are those numbers figured? What does that matter? All you need to know is that is the 3rd best in SEC history if the season ended today.
It's incredible.
Let's look at Schofield. Yeah, he would be behind Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins. It's since the 09-10 season, to be specific. But if you're with Anthony Davis and Boogie, you're doing things well. 20-point lead.
Tom, you got your answer. Rick Barnes hadn't worried about taking anybody out, has he?
I'm a little bit surprised. Are you?
I don't know. I mean, you know, he's just got a group of guys that want to play.
Sure.
And they enjoy playing.
But I think,
fun to watch.
You know, from my seat, that could be the only downfall for this Tennessee team.
That they get tired.
They get tired or they have to deal with depth issues. As good as they are at each position. Here's the royalty since 09-10. Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, and Grant Williams in the same league as the 2 guys in the league. Although Anthony Davis's wallet is a little bit lighter today. NBA docked him $50K for tampering. I don't know how you tamper with yourself. Yeah.
With your feelings?
Yeah, all
tamper
up
with his feelings. I feel like I'd like to play somewhere else.
Loose ball. Look who's still fighting for it. Jordan Bone tracks it down and converts. It's been a demolition in the second half.
Fun team to watch.
You know what we should do? We should talk to Jordan Bone post-game. And I'm sure they'll run it with her in the studio.
I'd like that.
No reason to stick around. 27-9 run to end the game for the Volunteers. They shoot 55% in the second half. And their defense, the difference, they hold South Carolina to 39% shooting. Mississippi State, Alabama in a little bit. We'll get you to the studio first. It was a 9-point lead at the break for Tennessee. They blow it away in the second half. I want to know what Peter Burns has to say about waffle fries.